Good evening, and welcome to the Social Health Work Show with your hosts Lina Jones and Mahogany Fawn. This is the show where we talk about all the choices when it comes to our health.
Hey. What's up, what's up, what's up? Happy September, you guys. Welcome back. Thanks for joining us. We're going into another month, Lina. We're going kind of strong. Yes.
So nice.
It was cold today.
It was cold today.
It's cold outside. Like when I stepped out the house earlier, I stepped out the house and it was hot. When I stepped out the house to come do the taping today, like I need my sweater.
Who's you gonna mess up on sweaters that way?
No, I just like
that?
saying sweater. I need my sweater.
Okay.
Yeah.
She need her sweater.
My sweater.
Okay. So well, I haven't really been anywhere but the studio. So I've been in all day, and to me, it's. I think I went out one time today, and it was warm.
It was warm.
It was warm. It wasn't cold. I didn't
No.
jacket or anything like that.
Okay. All right.
So.
Well, I know when fall comes, you know, it's a little upsetting to me because that means I have to put clothes on.
Yes.
But I do love a good turtleneck. So I like the fall
love
too.
The fall because I like putting on layers and layers of clothes.
No, I don't know.
I like the fall fashion. I love
me
the
too.
fall fashion.
Me
I
too.
love
Too many
wear
layers
boots and stuff like that. I mean,
yes, boots.
But nobody's gonna see your boots on this show unless you sit down and put your legs all the way out, shake them, and say, "Look at my boots."
No, this is not that type of show.
No,
I don't think they would appreciate that.
It's not. So how have you been since the party?
The party. I recovered about 2 days later.
Okay.
But other than that, you know, I thank everybody that came and showed up and showed out for the event. And of course, you guys know that, you know, the next big thing is the LJDN Halloween. Yes, the LJDN Radio Halloween Bash, or our annual bash.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm still debating what I'm going to be.
I got a green wig that I wore for the party, so I'm thinking.
God, it was horrible. It was like puke.
I was thinking poison ivy, but maybe not so much now. Yeah. Maybe the female Grinch.
Put a torch to the green wig. It needs to be retired like forever.
I was going for a very carnival-ish type.
Yeah, it served its purpose. It served its purpose. Now it's time to retire.
Okay, well that's good. I mean, hey, you know, I know last time I was Cruella de Vil, so I definitely got to make sure I step it up.
I was trying to think of something.
What do you mean?
Something to be, because I'm always. Last year I was Catwoman and my ears were everywhere. My mask was halfway. I could see through one eye. You couldn't see through the other eye. It was just one of them costumes. It's like, I can't wait to take this damn thing off.
Well, you know what I have come to realize that you actually, if you want to have like a good costume, sometimes you do have to make a little bit of an investment.
Yeah, that's
especially
true.
As an adult, we can't just, you know, go to the Dollar Tree.
But that was an investment. That was an investment.
No. I mean, I'm just saying, like, you know, some of the things you get what you pay for.
But what if I wear all black and be a bandit?
And you could. I mean, you're a bandit now.
Yeah, I know. What's that supposed to be?
So, you know, today's topic is really a topic that is general but not general, meaning it kind of affects all of us.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So what were you saying, Lina, about today's show?
I didn't forget what you did, but it's okay.
Excuse me?
Well, I was saying that today's show is about what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
You know, when you sit down and you think about what's going on, and even when you try not to think about it, it's all in your face.
It is.
You know, even on your favorite music stations, they stop and they take a news break and they tell you about what's going on in the world. and you can't help but feel some sort of way. I mean, some people don't care, but then there's other ones that feel some sort of way. I know with me, it bothered me when I heard about Louisiana. That hit me, and it really made me very sad, because I have my in and out bouts where I go through times where I'm depressed, where I'm not happy, and a lot of it's because of what I hear in the world, and hearing that about what's going on in Louisiana, how the people were just drowned was really something. So you think about, we got the drought in Louisiana, not the drought.
Well, we're gonna get into it, like, we're gonna get into the meat. I don't want to. Well, okay.
Can we just list them?
You have the fires.
The fires in
Okay,
California and
the
Nevada.
The earthquakes.
The earthquake. Who had the earthquake?
Haiti.
Oh, the earthquake.
Well, the biggest one in Haiti, but Haiti and Indonesia, these little countries around the surrounding areas. Like I said, we got the details.
Yeah.
So don't come at me with comments about the details. We got the details.
Okay.
And also, like you said, the flooding, the recent flooding, of the East Coast, and some more things, but I can't. Well, COVID is,
people,
we're going to talk about the COVID and some of the variants.
We got the 13 young boys that died, that just sacrificed their life for a suicide bomber.
Right.
That in Kabul. It's just so much going on now. I had put the post out when I talked about the show. I put the post out that said, "Do you think God is trying to tell us something?" And I seriously, that's a serious question for me, because back in the biblical days when they went through all of that, I mean, if we got a swarm of locusts to come through, it would not surprise me.
I mean, that is one of the things that are going on in the country as well.
I truly think
another thing that's going on in the world, there have been locust plagues. There have been these things, and like I said, we're going to get more into them. But because, this is the Social Health Network, these things do affect us.
They do.
By our health.
Yes.
Hearing bad news all the time is kind of diminishing to one's spirit. And I know, Lina, like I am not saying that I'm not religious, but I'm going to try to take the approach for the people that are coming from a more spiritual side and not such as a religious side when we discuss these topics. Because I just want to give everybody a chance to, definitely chime in and not feel one-sided or biased.
Yeah, I don't want you guys to feel one-sided or biased either. I don't want to. I mean, we're not up here to preach a sermon,
No, not in the least. We're here to give you information and our personal opinions on how we deal with things and what we think, some of the resolutions in life can be. But definitely, when you do hear about these things, it does take an emotional toll on your body, and that affects your health.
But I do personally feel like God is trying to tell us something.
I agree. There's something definitely going on.
Yeah.
Somebody's saying something like, "Wake up!"
We're not.
This whole woke. I'm woke. Are you really woke?
And it's the thing about it is that people don't think about stuff like this until it actually happened to them. I'm pretty sure that those people in Louisiana did not think, and Mississippi did not think that they were going to lay down that night of a storm and wake up
to nothing.
Yeah, completely drowned out. And it is hot, no electricity, no heat. I mean, no coolness, no food, no water, just heat in the middle of the summer. Not the middle of the summer, but it's hot.
Yeah, but I also don't want to take away from the other situations that have occurred that are in the similar circumstances. I couldn't get myself together, y'all. In similar circumstances, Flint still has no clean water. You know what I'm saying? There are still parts of New Orleans that really did not recover. So, it's hard. It is. But we're still trying to push forward. So, like I said, today we're definitely going to talk about some things that, some of the things that are going on. And we're going to touch on some light-footed points as well. Lina likes to call me a, a conspiracy theorist. No, she likes to call me a conspiracy theorist. I have been called a brat before, but that's okay. I'm not. But she calls me a conspiracy theorist because I tend to listen to not just one thing, but kind of all things. Yeah. And I take all of them and collectively and kind of come up with a solution that way.
And then she comes and she tells me about it. And
I share
while she's talking to
my
me,
opinion.
What's going through my mind is, woo.
Yeah, she likes to call me cute. Like
I asked her was she cute at one time. I said, "Are you cute? Are you sure you're not?"
I'm
cute?
not. I'm not. You know, I just feel that there are some things, or some topics, and some points I agree with different, groups.
So I want to bring up some points. I want to bring up points about depression, because that is this show main purpose is about the social health work, and I just want to bring up some points that I think that if you have any of these symptoms, it might be happening to you, and it might be something that you need to look at. Now, point number one is
what? That's that stuff I be talking about. But I'm the brat, okay? I can't leave this camera, but I'm the brat. I got you though. And the symptom is?
Okay, what do you think the number one symptom for depression is? What do you think it is?
Not wanting to do one's regular activities.
Where did you come from that one?
What?
I just knew I knew that you would guess it. I knew she would.
Why is that?
Because that's just you.
It's not me right now. So
what? It's suicide. I thought that you would just say suicide.
Oh no, I'm thinking we're talking about, the signs of being depressed.
Yeah,
I'm not thinking that's not a sign. That's the end.
Well,
that's not a sign.
Thoughts of death or suicide. Thoughts of death or suicide. Right. That's one of the symptoms.
All right.
I mean,
death is not a symptom, Lina.
Having thoughts of death.
Okay.
I didn't say dying.
But you said, yes, you did. You said thoughts of death, suicide.
Thoughts.
Okay.
So what do you think another one is? Never mind.
Yeah, like, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that. No, we're not doing that.
But, they say, according to this one, Talk Depressed Settling, says if you're taking an antidepressant for you to stop taking it. If you're having these type of thoughts, you feeling sad or having a low mood about yourself, loss of interest or pleasure in doing things you used to like to do, you might be going through
Isn't that what I just said,
about a depression.
Isn't that what I just said, Sam?
Changes in your appetite, weight loss or gain, not related to dieting. Double sleeping or sleeping too much or not having enough sleep.
Double sleeping?
It says, no, trouble sleeping. I'm sorry. It's a white print. It's a print is in white. Okay. It says trouble sleeping too much. If you're feeling worthless or guilty about what's going on, like it's something you can do. For instance, when the people don't have homes and you living in a home and you got a couple of spare rooms and you thinking, I should open up my home and let people come in. Sam says she thinks she's depressed. when you have a home and you let people into your home and you want to let them in, but you just don't know. With COVID, you got to worry about COVID.
It's not just COVID. You got to worry about these people coming in your house, bopping you upside your head, robbing you, sticking you in the basement, torturing you. It's not just, let me help this kind soul. Let me help this kind soul. It's in my life.
Yeah, because they can be really kind to you when first meeting them. You get them in your house.
Watch out for that chainsaw.
The chainsaw? They're gonna murk you with what's in your home. Watch out for grandma's urn. Yeah. Watch out. Like, are you serious right now? This is crazy.
And then you can't get rid of them.
Yeah, nobody wants to go home, or they ain't got no home.
Even if the government giving them money to find a place.
Right, a squatter. That's terminology was correct. Mm-hmm. It's you're squatting in a residence. Y'all heard them stories about these people that buy homes and they come back to get their keys and stuff in the move cross country. They come back to get their keys and stuff. There's somebody living in their house and there's nothing they can do about it. They done signed a contract, did everything to put their money down, all that. And there is nothing they can do. They have to follow the process, the judicial process. Mm-hmm. Right, in order to get them out. It's complete utter nonsense. But you know, that's how our law system is set up. But go ahead, Lina.
And then you have the loss of energy or feeling more tired if you're going through that symptom. Moving or talking slowly, or being restless or fidgety. So much that it could be noticed. That's a sign that you're probably going through some type of depression. Having trouble concentrating.
Some people call them like tics.
Having trouble concentrating, thinking, or making decisions. Yes, you do that, Sam. She does.
I'm like close to suicide.
What's wrong? That's not even true. That you know what you have a cell in your body that's specifically made for you to twitch. That's its job, for you to just have
to dance,
to twitch. What is the word when you're not in control of it?
Not twerking.
Narcissism.
Sam, where did you get that from? And first of all, twerking is nothing but control. But no, what did you say? What?
What?
What did you say?
What did you say?
You said something.
You did.
I said a word.
When you have no control over it, there is
a narcissism.
That's when you go to sleep. No, but either way,
I know.
There is a cell in your body. So Tourette's is when you make outbursts. You do have tics, but never mind. Moving on. Go ahead. Oh.
Well, okay, and having thoughts of death or suicide. Now, if you're having these symptoms, the feeling sad or low mood, the loss of interest in doing things that you used to like doing, the changes in your appetite, whether it be weight loss or weight gain, trouble sleeping or sleeping too much, feeling worthless or guilty, especially if you can't help. You're the type of person that you want to help people, and hearing all this and you feel like you just can't help anyone. Feeling loss of energy or more tired, talking or moving slowly, being restless or fidgety, trouble concentrating on making decisions. Now, there's a number that you can call if you feeling any of this before, because we don't know what's going to happen one week or another, and you just might lose it if you're going through these symptoms. So it's called the National Suicide Prevention Line. It's an 800 number. It's 800-273-TALK. 800-273. No, not 800. She got a son that says 800, Lina. We'll go crazy together, child. Because I'm so emotional about what's going on in the world, and I really just feel like I can't do anything. I guess if I was wealthy, I would be able to do something. But then you have those that are taken advantage of. So I got to tell a quick story.
Okay.
I was watching the news.
Can we have a seat, Lina, while you tell your story?
Sure. So I was watching one of the guys that saved another person's house. It was a black guy. He had saved the white man's house, and the white man was grateful. And the black guy, so they interviewed the black guy. He's like, oh, I would do it. I would do it again. And they were telling him about how much of a hero he was. He was like, yeah, oh, okay, and your house is went on that. Well, I was just standing there. I got in a little trouble. I wasn't paying my rent, and so what? He went into a little bit of what he's been going through, with his finances, because when they do things like that, people usually reward you with some type of money. They usually give you money or open up a GoFundMe account or something like that. So there's a lot of hopesters out here too. There's a lot of people that might help you or help someone, get into a boat or something, but not because they want to, but, might help you
Get you hostage?
Yeah, see, no, because they want to be seen as a hero to collect a hero's compensation. So I was just saying.
That could affect your health.
Okay, so what were you saying there, Fawn? I have on some culottes. I have on some shorts. And this is Joanne. I think you look at anything. On camera. I'm not used to being that exposed.
What I was going to say was, before I get into my topic, what I was going to say was that one, you should not overwhelm yourself with things that you have no control over. That's one. Okay. Two, if you feel the need or you feel pressured to help, there are plenty of campaigns. There are plenty of houses, help houses. There are plenty of organizations that need volunteers. If you're not one to, be around people, of course, a financial gift is always beneficial to a lot of these organizations. Always do your research so that you're not scammed, because at this day and age, that's just what we're living in. And, I know I said I want to take the spiritual approach, but the only other way I know is to pray. But what I've learned in the spiritual world is it's not called prayer, it's called meditation. So meditate on those things that are bothering you about the world. They do say, you speak it into existence. And the more of us that get together on the same page, the more we can make a change to the things that are going on in the world.
You think so? You think we could stop the floods and the fires and the people?
I mean, we can have we can be better prepared for a lot of things. There are countries in the world that have zero crime. Who? There are countries that, Sam, can you Google that for just a moment? What country has no crime? There are countries that have no crime. There are also
Transylvania. Transylvania has no crime because they got vampires.
No, Lina, and I'm gonna let you roll with that because we're getting close to that season.
So,
okay, well, I would like to start with 10 of the biggest disasters of 2020, 2021, because it's just kind of a massive thing going on. It's like a ball coming down the hill. It's just gaining more and more and more as, the days go on and the months go on. And like I said, we're in September already. You know what I mean? Didn't we just hear about the vaccine? Didn't we just hear about the Delta? Didn't we just hear? And we're already in September. We're already in damn near the last quarter of the year. 2021 is almost over, you guys. We're about to have Labor Day. Did we not just have 4th of July? Did we not just have a shutdown around that time? And now we're about to come to Labor Day. Yeah, sometime around July 4th, they weren't doing anything. It either was before it or right after it or something like that.
It opened up.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. Either way. Okay, the biggest natural disasters that shook the world. So, of course, we had talked about the bushfires. Not only did we have fires in the West Coast, we also had fires in Australia. Okay, and those fires started around 2019, and they're still burning. We're still dealing with the fires. Right, okay. So then we have the devastating floods. We had the flood here in the United States, which was on the East Coast, and of course we heard about what happened to the Midwest, because Louisiana, so they're not really considered East Coast, right? Okay, so we had
South, right?
I don't even want to lie.
Mid-South.
Okay, Mid-South. All right. Well, yeah. Okay, and so not only do we have flooding here, but we also have flooding in Indonesia. The hurricane, of course, the hurricane. What the last one was?
Henry and Ida.
Ida. Then wasn't there a lot of something? Ida just happened. Right, but still, we had other hurricanes.
Ida left the south and went up north and found with New York and New Jersey.
Right.
Pennsylvania and Maryland.
Right. Okay. So then we had the volcano eruptions. Okay, that a lot of that took place in the Philippines. And of course, we had the earthquakes, but not only did we have the earthquakes in Haiti, but we also had them in Turkey, the Caribbean, China, Iran, Russia, Philippines, and India. They all had record-breaking earthquakes.
In what year? 2020?
2020, and then like I said, it's a combination. We're doing 20 and 21 because a lot of, like I said, a lot of that stuff just ran on. Okay, and then of course the locust swarms, and that was in East Africa and parts of India and Asia. And then we had the cyclone. There was a cyclone and Amphan in India and Bangladesh. And remember, when we talk about these other countries, because the United States does so much importing and outporting, this stuff affects us too. There's a cyclone in Indonesia. There are some things that we're not getting because as we're dependent on that country to receive their goods. Okay. Also, we had windstorms, and the weather has just been out of control. The religious people will say that.
Well, we're living in the last days. And all this stuff is supposed to happen before the end. We're supposed to see these and be wars, rumors of wars, and things like that, and
you're not going to
be and stuff like that.
Not be able to defer the seasons.
Tell which is the season is. Whether
you know what I'm saying?
And it'll be snowing in the summer, sunny in the winter, and things of that sort. But scientists will say that it is because of what we did to the ozone layer.
Right, the global warming.
Yeah,
global warming. Which we did. We did take effect into that because, we made things that we didn't really know, or we didn't really have a full understanding of the things that we were putting back out into our world.
Yeah, we do. The scientists will say that it's because of the global warming and warming. Global warming.
And 9 is, we did talk about the floods in India, Japan, and China. And then in Antarctica, the snow turned green and turned into grass.
What?
Yes.
This is one of your Q theories.
This is not a Q theory. Lowest crime, Iceland.
Yeah, well, there's lowest.
Okay.
0.
Excuse me.
No, you better thank you for Kansas and Dorothy and go back to Kansas.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. It is though. It's okay. It's fine. But like I said, there are countries out there that do not deal with half of the amount of crime that we deal with in the United States. Okay. So those are like the top 10 for 2021. We didn't want to get overwhelming. Okay. But when you hear about all that stuff, how does it not take a toll on you? If you're human, and which a lot of people are not human, and I only say that because they lack empathy. And I definitely feel if you are a human being, you don't have any other option but to have empathy. I get, a lot of people go through certain things in their life, but there's always that one little heartstring. You see the puppy with the gnawed paw, and you're like, oh. You see the baby that might get snatched by the freaking wolf. You're like, oh, just
the baby that might get snatched by the wolf.
I don't know.
She would.
It just came out that way.
Goldilocks.
Or like, I don't know, the old man falling down in the street. Oh, you know what I'm saying? But the world has become very numb to the term of empathy.
Because they don't care until it happens to them. I can't tell you how many times, you've encountered people that, look at the ones with the COVID. COVID is a prime example. People thinking that, oh, it's not going to happen to me, and not caring that people are dying, and they're not that sick in the hospital. And when it happens to them, then they're sick in the hospitals. I mean, if it affects them that way, they're on ventilators and stuff like that, and they see this not a joke, and they, want to reach out for help and for that empathy, but you didn't really give it out to anyone else. It goes like people are ignoring. Every day we go on and we live our lives and not thinking about the people in Louisiana that have no houses, that the water is completely covered up their houses with nothing. Could you imagine yourself in that position? Just close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself with nothing. I mean, nothing. You don't have a car. You don't have a house. You don't have your clothing. You may have some money in the bank, but you got to figure out how you can get to that. But you've lost everything. I can close my eyes and think of it, but I don't really know what it's like. I mean, I've lost a lot of things, but to lose everything that you have, everything that you work so hard for, and to not have nothing, it's not easy to keep your head up and continue to be strong without depression taking over. And that's my concern. I think we're going to have a depressed society. You have people, Americans that are still in Afghanistan that have not been able to come home. I don't know how I would feel if my kid or my sister or any member of my family or friends that I know of is in a country that they can't get out of, that they could possibly be killed just because they're Americans. And, I just feel that sometimes we just don't have that. We don't have that empathy unless something happens to us, and it shouldn't have to be that way. It shouldn't have to be that way. Maybe I'm going into depression.
And I mean,
hurting yourself.
Did I have thoughts of hurting? No, I'm too chicken.
Well, you know what? It's funny you should say that, Sam.
At one time I was, though, in my life, but I can't go there again because I do believe I was delivered because the suicide that I was thinking about was the jumping off the building type.
That first step is a doozy.
And I thank God, because if you're going to jump off the building, he may not kill you.
Yeah.
It just might be crippled for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm. And live for a very long time.
Yes.
A very long time.
In that state, yeah. So something put those thoughts in my mind.
And religiously, they say if you take your life, you're going straight to hell.
Well, yes, that too. It says
so.
God is
that is also something that
the giver and taker of life. He's the giver of life, and he's the only one to take your life. I mean, in my religion, my life doesn't belong to me, and it's not mine to give or take. So that's how I feel about it. I'm concerned about depression. I think it's going to be a lot of depressed people.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. Hey, all right, now I understand that I'm not a doctor. We're not doctors, okay? And we can't diagnose if you got depression or not. But I can say there has been times in my life where I feel that I was happy, but I still could have, oh my gosh, I just want to die right now. You know what I'm saying? I still would have thoughts, well, I just want to end it. Just end it. I can end it now because I'm on a happy note. If I end it now, then, I don't have to worry about the downfall, going downhill after coming up on this high. So I don't know. I don't want to say don't go ahead and diagnose yourself with depression. Everybody feels down. You feel down when you don't have any money. You feel down when you're lonely. You feel down when you're horny. You feel down when you're hungry. You feel like you can't.
Feel down when you're horny?
I mean, some people do.
Oh.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Your
But
heart
I
and
just
your
don't
head.
want you to feel like oh God, I'm depressed. Like
No,
I don't
no,
want you to
I
like
don't want-
go run that way either.
I just listed off some symptoms that you may not know that you're experiencing, and that could be depression or could lead to that. Just to be cautious, and just if you live with someone that are experiencing these things, keep an eye out on them, keep them in conversation. Talk to them and take them out for a walk, or make sure they get breathing. It doesn't matter how old they are. Just do something with them to kind of snap them out of that mood, because that's not a zone that you want to be in. It's a dangerous zone. And it can be very hard getting out of it. I know, I've been there before.
Having some form of support is always a plus. You don't know what's happening behind closed doors, just like people don't know what happens behind your closed doors. And that's what brings me back to empathy. You have to be empathetic. There's no other way.
Of course, my clothes are falling apart here. I don't know about you guys, influencers and stuff like that.
Yeah, because remember we talked about
trying
this.
to find a wardrobe,
We
trying
talked
to find
about
something
this.
to wear in
The
the
effect
hair,
of-
makeup.
yeah, there it is.
This is like, I don't have a wardrobe for television. I don't have a wardrobe for YouTube. That depresses me. It does. I need to GoFundMe for clothes.
See what I'm saying? I just don't want you to hop onto. I just don't want you to hop onto. I'm depressed. Just
No. Just like what Sam did. Don't do that. She thought about it, about the weight gain and how she feeling, and just said she's depressed.
yeah.
She's not depressed.
Me too, Sam. Me too.
She's too busy to be depressed.
But yes, most definitely. Don't. Don't. True. People get depressed when they lose their phones. People get depressed when they lose their dogs. Like, you just gotta remember to stay positive and do your best.
No one likes me on social media.
What?
You gotta have a proper focus.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
If your focus is on one particular thing or one particular circumstance, and that goes haywire, all those feelings be tied up in hopelessness, because you had put all your hope in
Hopelessness. That is a good word.
Yeah. And then you have the Roe v. Wade. The Roe v. Wade thing that everyone's talking about, how the Republicans, how the judges did not let this law go past where they want them to take away this abortion thing.
It
If
did
you're
pass.
6 weeks, they didn't.
Yeah, they said that it's okay to stand. That's what Supreme Court said. The
It's
law
okay to
can stand.
Yeah, the law can stand for if it's after 6 weeks, they can't
Right.
get an abortion. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Didn't I say it that way?
No.
Yes.
You didn't, but it's okay. Because Sam usually be coming through and saving your butt. But that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, well, Roe v. Wade, and they were saying that how one of the doctors today was saying that his patients that he saw, he couldn't see them because they all came from for abortions. And my thing is, well, damn, how many babies a day were just people just killing? I mean, it's you have a right to your own body. I feel like that you have a right to do what it is that you want to do with your body.
Right.
And they said, well, this is not good because in cases of incest and rape and stuff like that.
It's a very low percentage of babies that are conceived in
I'm not even talking about that. What about the sex workers? What about the ones that are made to do this every day? That's not rape. Even it is.
It is rape.
Yeah, but it's not in the same field as somebody. They're not even getting paid. But you get what I'm saying. It's not in the same realm of somebody jumping on you in the middle of nowhere and taking advantage of you. These women are going through men after men after men for hours and hours upon days. So you may have 17 sex workers that are knocked the hell up. So you got 17 girls going in here to get an abortion. So like I can't say, there's how many babies. We don't know. We have no idea what goes on behind Planned Parenthood's doors.
Well, they were saying that the doctor, like this one doctor, he saw 6 patients, and half of those patients were there for abortion.
Right. Yes.
So, I'm just thinking we're killing a lot of babies a day. A lot of babies is dying.
And I'm in agreement. I'm not taking it. I am pro-choice, and I don't.
You got that empathy thing, that
right. There it is.
You made that choice. But now it's on the news that all of these doctors are losing their patients. I'm just like, well, dang, how many abortions are you doing a day? You're aborting life. Just like, I almost felt like it, like flushing down the toilet.
Yeah. But then you look at the person that has 11 kids and has 5 babies' daddies, and you look at them like, well, what the hell were you thinking?
United States has 17% of abortions.
A day?
No,
for the
just
year 2020.
Yeah, in general.
Cuba had 49% of babies.
What?
Mm-hmm.
Had them or aborted them?
They were
aborted. These are all aborted fetuses. That's what I'm saying. You don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going on.
Horrible.
You know what you raised and you know how you lived, but you don't know. Remember, there was a time when I was younger, and we lived on base housing, and one of our neighbor's children was pregnant. She was 12. So like you don't know. She would need an abortion.
She was pregnant by her daddy.
So you don't know what's going on. These Mormon families, these girls that are running away because of being forced into marriages. Like we don't know. Like I said, I don't want to say no and you're crazy, and I'm just saying we don't know the circumstances behind 17 or 6 abortions that day. We just don't.
No, I'm not. I am pro-choice. A woman has a right. If she feels like she can't take care of it, but for your average woman that's just not doing what she's supposed to be doing and out there just doing it, stop doing it. Stop killing babies.
Oh.
Stop it. Because they can go to another state. That's Texas. All the states are not like that. They just have to spend more money than expected to go and get it taken care of. I wish you wouldn't get it taken care of, but it is your choice.
We also have a lot of children that are in foster care because they have not been adopted. You know what I mean? People they take that into consideration too. Do I want my child to be a child in the system? There's no guarantee after you have that baby. Would you rather them? I don't want to find any more babies in dumpsters, garbage bags, none of that. I don't want to find none of that either. So like it's like picking the lesser of the 2 evils. You know what? Every day we wake up with a chance and a choice.
That's true.
I felt that very moving. I'm a TikToker. I like to TikTok, meaning I like watching TikToks. I'm not really good at making TikToks. I'm learning. I'm trying. But you wake up every day with a chance, and with that chance comes an option, no matter what it is.
That's true.
No matter what it is. Okay. So let me get into, because the only thing that we did not discuss in that list was COVID. Yes? Okay, because COVID is a monster of its own.
Yeah, they got a new strain out.
Oh, and not to mention
the MU, it's a new strain of COVID.
I don't know. I don't try to keep up with it. I don't try to keep up.
Delta Lambda Mu.
Yeah, it's part of the Greek alphabet, just like the hurricanes.
Well, I think it's just like the flu shot. You know how every year we got to take a different strand. That's what I think. I think COVID is just probably something we're just going to have to
It's a flu.
just like the flu.
It's a flu.
And every year they got to change the strand of the flu shots for those that are susceptible to getting those.
Okay, now I'm going to have to do a little reading, like some real reading. But this article is brought to us by statnews.com, and it reads as follows. As the COVID-19 crisis ebbs in the U.S., experts brace for some to experience psychological fallout. So that's what they're calling it. They're calling it a psychological fallout.
And what are those symptoms? What is that? What does that mean?
Well, we're going to get into it in this article here, but basically the effects on the human body by COVID, all the surrounding factors, is giving us an effect of a psychological fallout. Okay. The end of the emergency phase of the pandemic is in sight. I'm not sure about that. In the United States, at least for now. But as the weight of the crisis is lifted, experts are also anticipating a long-term impact on people's mental health. For example, for some people, the feelings of anxiety and depression that emerged during the pandemic will resolve as routines resume, meaning you get back to your normal, routine, your normal behavior. I mean, to a degree, because it's never going to be as normal as we had it before. People go back to the office, social connections are reformed, the seeming danger of activities dissipates, but others will face a new or worse mental issue that is persistent or even appear down the road, a number that could be quite large given the magnitude of despair and disruption. The burden, however big, stands to put on an even greater strain on an already stretched mental health system. In the best of times, there is untreated mental illness, says Susan Borja, the chief of the National Institute of Mental Health's Dimensional Traumatic Stress Research Program. Even a small increase in the rates of people with new or worsening mental illness is going to be a problem. And with the pandemic, it has been the entire country facing new stressors. As the pandemic set in last March, the percentage of people reporting they felt anxious and depressed spiked and has remained elevated since. Okay? According to survey data, experts have also highlighted increasing in sleeping problems and alcohol and other substance misuse, and point to clear causes: uncertainty and fear about the coronavirus itself, job loss and housing and food insecurity, juggling work from home while dealing with cooped up kids, because that is seriously affecting our American people.
Yeah, it is.
Grief and a loss of social cohesion as a result of restrictions. Now that right there sounds like the definition of what? Depression. Okay. The question is what comes next. During emergencies, some people take on the mentality of just needing to get through it. When they have, though, the full weight of what they've been through can hit. I read that right. At what point do we get to breathe? That is a big thing. You hear a lot of people, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. Said Teresa Nagin, the Chief Program Officer at Mental Health America. And when you breathe, that's when grief and processing can start to enter your mind. Mental health researchers have studied the impact of disasters, emergencies, and health crises for decades, going back to the 1942 Coconut Grove nightclub fire in Boston that killed nearly 500 people, said Carol North, a psychiatrist and director of the University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center's Division of Trauma and Disaster. The exception is wars. That's the only thing that apparently we don't just lose our shit about, is war. And I guess because there's so much emotion that goes into that. It's either, life or liberty or death. You understand? Usually when we're going to war, which have been investigated in various ways for hundreds of years. That historical perspective provides the framework for how experts think about tail effects. But the pandemic has been unprecedented. Natural calamities or disease outbreaks are typically geographically limited, and disasters or attacks are acute events. While fear lingers and recovery takes time, COVID-19 has become like a chronic stressor, one that has ebbed and flowed, but hasn't disappeared in the U.S. for over a year. It's not just a health crisis either. The interventions instituted to slow the virus have resulted in massive upheavals in the economic and social fabric, a loss of financial security and emotional support. Oh, yes. Now, I know this is my last paragraph, but I thought this article was just so good in its entirety. I couldn't break it up. I couldn't break it down and, chew it up and give it to you like that. So, last paragraph. Okay, it's not the last paragraph, but we're gonna just, I didn't realize, everything is longer on the phone than it is on the computer. You know what I'm saying? Because you got the bigger screen and stuff. Okay. I think I lost the spot. Yeah, I lost your spot. Okay, no. During the initial stages of a crisis, there can be a sense of rallying together. Think of the mass cheering for healthcare workers and the spirit of solidarity that imbued the first weeks of the pandemic. Mm-hmm. But as the pandemic dragged on and the stressors compounded, it laid down the groundwork for lasting issues for some people. And just like that with the virus itself, the psychological damage won't be borne equally. Researchers say that they worry about communities that were already more vulnerable to mental health issues, including the LGBTQ community, which we already know they got some issues, okay? Y'all got some issues. And those who face violence in their homes. And when I said the LGBTQ community had issues, and I'm saying because of, their transitions or what they chose to do, their family life or their social life, their home life may not have been as easy as, people that are not in the community. They also say that communities that the virus and subsequent economic fallout struck hardest, including Black, Latino, and indigenous people, could see higher rates of mental health issues as a result. Experts noted that the pandemic overlapped with a bombardment of headlines about police killings of Black people and the movement against racial injustice, another source of stress. Which we didn't cover was racism. Because that's a pandemic going on right now too. That's a stressor. Okay? Being worried about being called a Karen, and being worried about being called a Ken, and being worried about being called a Black Lives Matter activist. Yeah, all of this is a stressor. Okay. Like I said, I'm going to read this last paragraph. Signs of the desperate impact are already starting to emerge. Preliminary data indicates suicides nationally dropped 5.6 from 2019 to 2020. The early national figures do not yet include demographic details. But some states have seen higher suicide rates among people of color. One study in Maryland found that the suicide rate doubled among Black people during the early months of the pandemic, while it was halved for white people. Researchers in Connecticut reported that while the suicide rate dropped 13% during the stay-at-home period, a significantly higher proportion of suicide descendants were from racial minority groups. The shifts are particularly notable because white people nationally had higher pandemic rates of suicide than Black or Latino people. They suffer from the pandemic the worst, and they are likely to have the longest tail of this, said the National Institute of Medicine and Health.
Why do you think that's so?
What do you mean?
That white people get depressed and stressed out more. Because I can tell you why. I was told why by my daddy. He was my
I'm
daddy.
Scared.
I'm definitely
someone else.
What?
Because white people they are not used to dealing with things like not having no money, not having the rent paid, the electricity about getting it cut off. Where us, we're just like, I ain't got it.
No, I don't want to take away from what Lina said, which is very true in most households, but
Yes.
I know that there are white people out there that had to struggle as well. We're just stating that your struggle just wasn't the equivalent. I know that might get some people a little hot, but even in the Black and brown culture, every shade has their own struggle.
Yes.
So the further darker on the spectrum you go, the harder your struggle is.
Everyone has a different level of stress that they can take and they cannot take.
Right.
Regardless of color.
That's a color too. That's a color too. We all got a color.
Whatever color
right.
you might be.
That's why I say it that way.
It's the character within the person.
Right.
The inner strength that they have.
Mm-hmm.
The strength of their faith.
That's right.
What they focus on.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
My level of pain is different than another person's.
That's right. Yes. You are correct. So I'm with you. Aye, Captain.
It hurts me to start comparing based on color.
I understand that, but you are a shade. You do
Absolutely.
have it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And I try to say that because a lot of people do tend to not think of white people that you guys have shades too. You guys have struggles too inside of your communities. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I try to say it that way. Not trying to take away from anybody else's being harder or not.
I just like it to be careful that we don't separate ourselves so much to eliminate the possibility
of
a whole community of various shades.
But we can't.
Yeah.
We can't see that, and that's where we differ.
And that's because white people can't understand.
No, but that's what I say when I say about the shades, because we can't. That's what y'all would like us to do. We can't. I can't.
Too much history.
I just can't.
Too many.
Mind you, I didn't run from. I wasn't. I wasn't running from master. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't. I'm fond of the white men as well. Majority of my friends growing up were white. So no, I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't see it like that at all. But as at one time of being a daycare provider and talking to our youth, they have to understand that we all are a shade. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But we are. Once we all realize that, and we accept, that's what it is. Just accepting that. That's really what the bottom. Just accepting that we all are different. That's really what it comes down to.
We are.
But we're not all accepting of that.
Right.
That's where I go. That's where I'm trying to go.
I think whatever shade we are, there are those who accept and those who don't accept.
That's right. That's true.
It isn't color-based acceptance.
No, it's not. That is not. And that is the bigger picture here. Yes. It doesn't. The shade doesn't matter. But we have to recognize that it's there. It doesn't matter.
It's a level of where you can put it on the table and say, this is where we are.
Right.
And in order to elevate everybody to the next table level, there are issues that need to be focused on that might not be sensitive to me, but it's sensitive to another person at my level.
That acceptance,
that goes, what can we do to address this, heal it, and elevate it?
I cannot, stress that more. And, and that's another reason why I really did choose to, mold our youth. Because if they have a strong foundation, it doesn't matter where they're going to go. They're going to go anywhere with
It's just like what King told us. I want to be judged based on the content of my character, not the color of my skin.
Yes. And on that note, Tim, where are we at on time, my love?
9 o'clock.
That was great, you guys. I can't wait to see y'all next week. That was a good one.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy that, Lina?
I did.
I don't know, because you had your papers and stuff like that.